All right, everyone, Yianni Kourakis. As you might have heard, the NHL has unveiled a return-to-play plan. Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, just got off the television screen with those plans. I'm going to break it down for you and how it impacts the Boston Bruins. So when the regular season is over, we'll tell you that first and foremost. When the playoffs resume, there'll be 24 teams, 12 in the Eastern Conference, 12 in the Western Conference. Top 4 teams, which includes the Bruins, in each conference will get a bye. But those teams aren't just going to twiddle their fingers. They're going to play in a best-of-3 round-robin tournament with each other to determine the seedings for the bye teams. So that includes the Bruins 1, Tampa Bay 2, Washington 3, Philadelphia 4. So they'll play round-robin tournament with those teams and then get the team that survived the qualifying rounds, if you will. Each conference will play their games in one hub city. So all the teams will be in that one city. It'll be like a tournament, like the NCAA tournament of sorts. Hub cities don't include the Bruins. They are Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Vegas, LA, Minneapolis, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Vancouver. So we know the Bruins won't be home playing at the TD Garden, even though they submitted a bid to do that. The first and second round will be best of 5 or 7. That has not been finalized. The conference finals and the Stanley Cup final will be a best of 7, as we've grown accustomed to. They're talking about phases. Phase 2 is early June. Clubs can, so by next week, clubs can return to facilities, have limited amount of players on the ice. Phase 3, training camp, that starts no earlier than July 1st. And then phase 4, so when do the playoffs start? No dates yet determined on that front. So the dates is still TBD, but it is a plan. And this isn't to say the NHL is back entirely, but this is the plan if everything else gets ironed out. The Bruins, of course, are the President's Cup trophy winner. They had the most points. They're happy to be playing because by record they have the best team in the NHL, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. They won the President's Cup in 13-14 and got bounced in that Stanley Cup playoff, so it doesn't assure anything. Also, they're not going to get home ice advantage of playing at the TD Garden. And depending on if they do a bracket or reseeding once the Stanley Cup playoffs return, they may not get a great draw. So we don't know. There's some challenges for the Bruins, of course, but this is the situation we're in right now. Anything else of note? So if camp is no earlier than July, let's say it's minimum 2 weeks, maybe mid-July, August, and then August, September, how is it, a couple months for the playoffs to go, assuming they do proper rest. But there's not going to be travel involved for these playoffs, so that'll, but you assume maybe, a night between games, at least. So that's the latest with the NHL. Good to have one sport have a plan to try to get back to normalcy.